Now, I was walking around my local supermarket having a good nosy, and I could see all those beautiful exotic looking fruits and vegetables. And it got me thinking, can I grow those here in the UK? So I thought I'm going to experiment this year with 5 exotic supermarket veg to grow here in the UK on my allotment. And one of the things I'm going to attempt to grow this year are these physalis, ground cherry, or the Cape gooseberry as we know it here in the UK. Now, if you've watched previous videos, you will see that I've got a love-hate with trying to grow Cape gooseberries. I have bought seeds and they have failed to germinate or been very sickly plants in the first place. The best crop I had was growing them directly from the fruit. That gave me a much stronger seedling and it seemed to grow much healthier and better, and there was a better germination rate than actually buying in Cape gooseberry seeds. If you cut open your Cape gooseberry, you will see that there is so many seeds on the inside. Now, each berry has an awful lot of seed, but last year I found just squeezing these berries out to release all these beautiful seeds gave me really good germination rates, and it's something I'm intending on doing this year. Now, Cape gooseberries aren't expensive to buy. They're about £1 a packet, give or take, and you might be lucky to find them as a garnish on your plate if you go out to eat somewhere. But this is something that can be grown here in the UK. Many people do. But one thing to maybe consider is that, one, they can grow incredibly big. They can take up a lot of space and become a little bit unruly, but they can reward you with a massive amount of fruits at the end of the year. But I've heard that they actually do thrive off a little bit of neglect, so really that suits me down to the ground. So I'm going to give this another go this year using fresh berries and taking out the seed to see if my germination rates are a lot better. Now, with Cape gooseberries, because they can take a long time to actually get to fruit, the sooner you start them, the better. In fact, I did start some from a seed packet back in February and they have done nothing at all. So I've restarted them with some fresh berries because it won't be long before really it's too late to do this. Now, my next experimental are these. This is turmeric. Now, there is people that already grow turmeric very successfully here in the UK. But I want to give it a go, and again, this is something that I bought from the supermarket. Most of us are probably used to seeing turmeric with that bright yellow, maybe orangey powder that we see in our supermarkets. But this is where that powder comes from. Now, I managed to get a small bag of these, again for under £1, and I'm going to plant these in a pot. Now, with most of these fruits and vegetables that you can get from the supermarket, they really do need a good wash. I soak mine for a few hours because you never know if it has been sprayed with some kind of chemical that will actually stop it sprouting. And all I'm going to do is to plant this on top of the surface. Now, I'm going to put in several of these on top of this surface. Now, if these do grow and they do sprout, I'll move them into a larger pot individually. But at the moment, because, well, space is a little bit tight, I am going to be doing it like that. Now, they don't need to be buried deep and they only need a light layer on top. Now, the little bit of research that I have done on these, some say to leave them slightly open to the elements, some people say to actually cover them. I'm going to go kind of halfway and just add in a centimetre or 2. Just like everything else I'm going to show you today, the common theme is they are not frost hardy. They are all from the tropics somewhere. So this will be indoors until the last of the frost and it gets a little bit warmer. But the good thing about this is it can be overwintered, so you can bring this indoors and keep it as a tropical houseplant, ready for next year's growing season. So all I've got left to do for this is to give it a good water, but not too much. The last thing you want is for it to rot in this soil. So maybe adding a little bit of perlite to help with that little bit of drainage. Now the next one is again something that people do grow here in the UK, but I have not attempted. And it's this. This is ginger. Now you can buy this in packs for under £1, and it is something that I really want to give a go. Now this I soaked and I washed to make sure I got rid of any residue chemical. And as you can see, I've had this actually drying for a few days and I've already got growth coming out of this ginger. And with this, it is pretty much the same planting as you would do with the turmeric. Now these are going onto the top of the surface of a pot. Now this pot is a little bit small for my ginger. I will be doing a bigger pot once it gets growing. But this size pot is just for me, just to get it growing. Again, covering it with a small amount of soil, giving it a good water and seeing if these sprout. Now there are different ways I've seen that people grow ginger, and there are definitely better ways than others. But I'm going to go down the simple route just to see if I can actually get this to start sprouting. If it does, it will be moved to that bigger pot, and hopefully by then it will be warmer and it can go down into my polytunnel, so long as there's no frosts. But fingers crossed I can get this to grow, because it's another thing that I can overwinter and actually carry on growing for next year's growing season. The next thing I'm going to try and grow this year are these, which I found in the supermarket, which is eddoes. These are from the family of the colocaceae, very similar to taro. And I saw these and they were relatively cheap for the bulbs and they look quite healthy. So I thought I would give these a go. Now I have grown these before, mainly in a little pot next to my pond, where it's had access to plenty of water, and I've mainly grown it for its foliage. But this year I thought maybe I can try and grow this to see if I can produce these corns. It's something that I've wanted to grow, but you do need a bit of space. I think I'm going to actually grow some of these in pots, and I think one or two may go into the ground in my polytunnel. And again, after a little bit of research, it is very simple to actually pot on. So all I'm going to do is plant it that way up. Cover it with soil, not too deep. And in general, I've always got these to sprout. But the test this year is to see if I can actually grow these to actually produce a food source. So this is really an experiment I'm actually looking forward to try. Again, just like everything else, it's not frost hardy and it does need to be protected. I think out of all these choices today, getting a crop out of these, I think I'll be quite excited, because the plant itself is actually quite beautiful and tropical looking. Now number 5 is probably something most of us growers have contemplated, and it's the sweet potato. Now sweet potatoes here in the UK are definitely harder to grow because they are definitely a warmer loving crop. But I've noticed there is more availability on sweet potatoes that will grow better in our area. But as I was walking around the local supermarket, I did pick up a bag of sweet potatoes to try and grow. Now with sweet potatoes, you do not put the whole sweet potato into the ground. It's not how you grow. In fact, it's not related to potatoes. It is related to the plant morning glory. So it's more of a vine than the standard potato plants that we see here in the UK. And because of this, you grow them differently. You need to produce what's called a slip. Now this is a sprout, as maybe you would see on a potato, but it actually fully forms into a small plant. Once that has formed, you then pick that off that sweet potato and pop it into some water. Once you've got some good healthy roots starting to develop, pop it into some soil to grow on. Again, this is another one to plant outdoors after the last frosts. Now, how do you get these slips off sweet potatoes? Well, there's a few different ways. Now, I've done it once or twice over the years and I've managed to get slips. Some ways are definitely easier than others, and I've never found a way that gives me slips every single time. The easiest way to do it is by placing your sweet potatoes that have been cut in half into some water. Now you do need to change that water out on a regular basis, but eventually, sometimes after many weeks, you will start getting a shoot coming out the side of your potatoes. Once this has got a decent amount of size, you can pick that off and place it into that glass of water to carry on growing those roots. Another way to try, which I have been successful with in the past, is by half burying sweet potatoes in some soil, making sure that the soil is moist but not soaking wet, because this will rot your potato very quickly. This should, again, after many weeks of trying, give you some slips. Now, I've read that some people recommend doing it in the dark, some say in the light, but all of it really does need to be in some kind of warm conditions. This year I'm going for it on a sunny windowsill, but I think because mine still have not produced and I've had them in water since probably beginning of February, maybe even January, I'm going to put mine under my grow lights to see if it makes any difference. Now, the big downside to growing sweet potatoes from store-bought potatoes is their variety and whether they are going to be even suitable to grow here in the UK. There are a lot of varieties of sweet potatoes out there that prefer a hell of a lot more sun and warmth than what we get here in the UK. Our growing season is relatively short. If you're lucky, you may find the variety and where it's grown on the bag. You might be able to do a little bit of research to see if that sweet potato is even going to be viable to grow here in the UK. Now, you can buy slips here in the UK for sweet potatoes that are more suitable to our climate, but slips can be incredibly expensive. So maybe experimenting with some store-bought sweet potatoes is the way to go. But don't heavily rely off a good crop off of them, because you can't guarantee on what you're going to get. And if at all possible, make sure you're buying organic. This will just mean that it's not being sprayed with certain chemicals that will stop the growth while the vegetables are being stored. Now, fingers crossed, I will get some slips off of these sometime soon. But if not, I think I need to put an order, because it is something that I actually want to grow this year. I've got a couple of spaces in my polytunnel and for a really nice sunny area outdoors on my allotment. But these are the 5 exotic supermarket fruits and vegetables that I'm going to give it a go this year. And I'll show you the progress throughout the whole of the year with all these 5 experiments. Now, I know a lot of this stuff can be grown here in the UK. I have seen many a great grower growing these kind of things, but it's not something that I've actually got too much into. But I want to grow some unusual stuff, and I think this may be a good start. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you have in the past grown from the supermarket. What type of crops have you had? Or has it been a complete waste of time? Maybe there's something that's got your eye in the supermarket that you really want to give a try this year. Let me know in the comments, and hopefully it will inspire each other to maybe try something new.